A subcontractor agreement is a legal document used when someone who has been hired to perform a job or service then hires other people to perform parts or components of the job. Subcontracting agreements are common in fields like construction, when it's useful for the client who may have little experience creating and overseeing a project to hire someone who does. The client will hire someone, often known by the telling term of general contractor, to see the project through to completion. But particularly for large or complex projects, the general contractor will have to turn to subcontractors who have more expertise or experience in a particular field. Before we get into the steps involved in writing subcontractor agreements, you may be wondering, how does a subcontractor agreement work? If you're a subcontractor, it's important to understand for whom you are working. You will sign a subcontractor agreement with the person overseeing the project, and that person in turn has signed an agreement with the person who has ordered or requested the project. And secondly, even though the work may take a long time, and even if the people who are working for the subcontractor are employees, subcontractors are not employees. They're there to perform particular tasks and generally have more independence in how they do their jobs. What should I do before drafting a subcontractor agreement? If you're in a situation in which you think you will need to hire subcontractors, the first thing that you should do is develop a scope of work. This is an explanation of the task that the subcontractor is responsible for, and it will be useful to find the right person or firm to handle the job. Depending on the job, you may be able to find the subcontractor through personal connections or searching on the internet. For other jobs, particularly those involving public facilities or funding, you may have to go through a regulated bidding process, in which different subcontractors look at the scope of work and offer a proposal or a bid, and you may be required to accept the lowest bid. Once you have a subcontractor selected, what should the agreement contain? Because general contractors generally do not closely supervise the manner and means of the work a subcontractor does, the agreement should not focus too heavily on the details of how to perform the task. Instead, it should cover the terms of payment, the costs or budget and materials that the subcontractor will use, and what sort of insurance or bonding will be required. The most important thing for the agreement to contain is a detailed description of what constitutes completion of the subcontractor's task. This is the subject of occasional disputes or lawsuits between subcontractors and general contractors who may disagree about whether the task is adequately done. Be sure to be as detailed as possible in explaining what is expected. We're eForms, the world's biggest database of legal documents. Click or tap the link here for your own fillable subcontractor agreement, including contracts for every state. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos about labor and contracting issues.